Hi, my name is Naren Rana. I am 34 years old. I live in Sammamish, which is close to Seattle, Washington. I am a software engineer by trade, and I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu for about 8 months now. I am 3 stripes on my white belt, and I would like to talk about how I started on my jiu-jitsu journey, and hopefully uh, will this video will explain why I my submission is a good candidate to win the jiu-jitsu occasion. So I first like to start talking about motivation, what motivated me to get into my first jiu-jitsu class. So as countless other guys, I've been always impressed with martial arts, and I loved the karate and kung fu movies, and I liked Rocky a lot, but that never really meant anything. It never really translated into real life. It was always, yeah, that's cool, that's something I like to watch in the movies, something I like to watch on TV, but it wasn't something that ever crossed the boundary from something that I like to admire to something that I can do myself. And being in the software industry, very I don't think of myself as the warrior type. I don't want to, my life's ambition is not to beat up 10 guys or not to be some champion. I don't even think that's possible. But I do want to stay fit. So I was going to, whenever I could find the time, run around a little bit, maybe lift some weights, and it was the same boring routine, and there was always a plateau. I would always make a little bit of improvement and then I would stop. But then I saw, when I came to the States, I saw the UFC, and I saw Gracie take on people who looked bigger and stronger, and in some cases more athletic, and he was still able to beat them all. And what I admired so much was his fearlessness, his courage, and even when the beginning of the fight didn't go very well for him, how he kept his composure and the confidence that he had even when somebody was so much bigger and on top of him and trying to punch his face in. So that really did, tell me that there was something different about what he was doing. And again, I just kept it at that, and I was like, yeah, Hoist Gracie is cool, and that's it. And I carried on with my life. But once I was just browsing through YouTube, and I came across, there was this big news at that time that Fedor Emelianenko, who was one of my favorite fighters in the UFC, not in the UFC, in Pride, lost to Fabricio Verdum, and I was taken aback as to how Fedor lost. And I was trying to find an online video of how to watch that fight, because it was in Strikeforce, I think. I didn't know where it was airing on TV. And I watched that video, and next to that video I saw Gracie break down Fedor versus Verdum. And I clicked on that, and I saw Henner Gracie and Hiron Gracie trying to break up what happened. And what I saw, it just blew my mind. I saw them break down the fight. I saw them tell me how Fedor was trying to get out, and how Verdum tried to switch from a triangle to an armbar to a triangle, and how he kept Fedor in that same position. And I watched that video, then I went and watched the fight again, and then I went and watched that video again, and it made so much sense. And it was as if they were describing it like almost like an engineering process, where you say, if you do this, the laws of gravity dictate that this is what's going to happen, whether it's Fedor's arm or somebody else's arm. It's the same thing. And of course, I saw in the description link to Gracie University. So I clicked on the Gracie University website, and I went through the 3 videos that were free, because I didn't become a member in the beginning. There were Gracie Combative's 3 slices, and when I saw those videos, that was the first time I was motivated to think about doing jiu-jitsu myself. And I tried, I watched those videos a lot of times. Then I became a member of the Gracie University. I subscribed to the YouTube channel. I started looking at breakdowns, and for the first time I could see the science in this whole thing. And when I went back and did the 3 videos of the Gracie Combatives, the 3 slices again, I tried to do it on my own all alone, and I could see that there was something that that could work. At that time I was driving around town and I saw a flyer for Gracie Baja in Bellevue, which is pretty close to me, and I gave it a shot, and I was just blown away by how fantastic the people were there, how welcoming they were, and how they made a techie like me feel so welcome. And there are people that have been doing karate for 10 years and who are jiu-jitsu black belts for 10 years and all that, but they're so humble, so welcoming. It's like a family. And that took away all my inhibitions. From then on I thought, no matter what, no matter I'm 34 years old, no matter if I am not the warrior type, this thing is for me. And that's how I got started on my journey. So about my routine, I am a person who works more than about 50 to 60 hours a week. So I don't always have enough time to, get as much rolling on the jiu-jitsu mat as I would like. But at minimum, I do 2 days a week for about 1 hour 30 minutes, which is about an hour's worth of class and about 30 minutes of open mat. And on weeks which are a little light, I also include a couple of hours on Saturday where we have the takedown class, and it's more like an open mat than a class, although the professors are there to help us out. Benefits. So the obvious benefits, like I've lost weight. I've reduced my cholesterol by about 15% from the last year. I've lost 18 pounds. My BMI has dropped by 5%. So the cosmetic changes are there, and I do appreciate them. But the biggest change, I think, is in the energy level, is in the amount of energy I have, and it's also in the amount of confidence I've built up on my body, that there are things that might look difficult that I can't do right now, but I can get there. Like I was very limited flexibility, but I am getting much better at it. So benefits for me, it's like it has opened a new world where I see things that I'd never thought were for me are now some things that I have a solid plan to achieve. I see first time that I've seen discipline, goal setting, achievements, dedication outside of software in my life, and I am taking to it like fish to water. Let's see what else. I wanted to tell people who don't think jiu-jitsu is for them. I want to say that jiu-jitsu is definitely hard. I am not going to give you, I'm not going to lie. It is hard. It's not easy, but it is definitely something that you can do. I have seen people who have nagging injuries who come to the gym, say, I have this injury, and they still get better. Actually, it helps because they become more flexible. The amount of new injuries that they get is minimized. The confidence, I've seen women, I've seen young children in my school, the Gracie Baja in Bellevue, and I have seen people who are considerably out of shape, and I've seen them lose 30-40 pounds. I've only been there for 8 months, so it's a gradual. It's not like you lose 500 pounds in 2 days, but I have seen the energy levels rise. I have seen the weights go down. I have seen the confidence increase. I've seen women who can, even small, about 5'4", you can basically kick my ass anytime they want. I have seen that this is a genuine skill. It's not about, oh, if I hit the other guy first, I'll win. It's a science. It's definitely a science. And there is so much to learn. Even if you are not well, let's say for a week, you can't train, even if you just sit on the sidelines and watch what's happening on the mat, it is exhilarating. So it will always keep you interested. It's not as mundane as just running on the treadmill. It's not as mundane as just lifting weights and looking at your biceps in the mirror all the time. It is something that you can get better at. You can set goals, and you have people all around you that support you. You won't feel pressure that this is all meatheads everywhere and all they want to do is to fight. No, you have very smart, very focused, very dedicated people who will help you in your journey. And excuses like I'm not fit enough, I'm not flexible enough, I'm not athletic enough, they will just fade away, and you don't have to take my word for it. All you have to do is to go and try, and you will be here in front of the camera saying these things yourself, and I think those things will mean more to you than what I am saying here. Fine. Well, there's one more. I want to talk about the roadblocks. The roadblocks that I normally face are not from other people. I think I am my biggest roadblock. The amount of discipline that it takes, the amount of consistent effort that it takes while doing a stressful job, while being a dad, while being married, while looking after the house. All of that requires that I do fantastic time management, and I give my best effort, which I'll be honest, and I would say that there are great weeks and there are not so good weeks. So I think the biggest roadblock that I see is me. If I can demand more out of myself, if I can be more consistent with my time, if I can have better understanding of what's being taught. I always keep thinking about it, even when I'm at work. I'm always thinking about, hey, instead of trying to mount from the side control, why don't I directly go for the north-south choke? Because most people are never protecting their necks. I'm always thinking about it, always regurgitating jiu-jitsu in my head. But the biggest roadblock is I would actually like to do it 5 days a week and grow as fast as some of my peers are growing and gain well. But one thing that I do realize, that jiu-jitsu is not a temporary thing. It's a lifelong thing. That leads me to my goal. What I wanted to do when I joined jiu-jitsu was I wanted to see whether this art will work when one of the people who is practicing this art is me, and whether my body will be able to do these movements and whether I will lose weight or not. All of that, the answer is a resounding yes. Yes, I can do these things. Yes, I have lost weight. Yes, my energy is increased. But these are not my goals anymore. My goal is not to get a black belt. My goal is not to be a fighter or a jiu-jitsu practitioner who wins the Northwest Regional Championships. My goal is to demand more out of myself, to learn more jiu-jitsu, to practice, to teach, to help other people, at the same time to demand more out of myself, to set more goals for myself outside of my work, and to build that confidence even more that my body is capable of doing a lot more than what I think is possible. And probably when if I do get at that black belt level, I would like to contribute by putting a lot more things based on jiu-jitsu online, like sparring algorithms and maybe a Kinect based game. Or I know there are a lot of apps out there. I have the Gracie Academy YouTube channel. I look at Marcelo Garcia's online archives, and they're all fascinating. But I think we can do a lot more. Once I get there at that point in time, I'll talk more about this. But right now, I want to say to everybody that even people with office jobs who have, you know, sit at their desk all the time, and it's very stressful. I think all these people should get involved in jiu-jitsu, because this is going to have a positive impact on not just your health, also on your work and on your life in general. So yeah, with that, I'd like to close. I hope you like this entry. I want to say that I'm a big fan of the Gracie family, all the brothers and uncles and grandfathers and everybody, and thank you for what you showed me.